Okay, good day, everybody. It's great to have you back to Let's Talk show. So today, let's talk men. And I'm honored to have these wonderful men on the call with me today. Caleb, we've got Christian, we've got Uche, and we're just going to talk through one or two things today just to engage with guys at Bay City Church and share some of the places where we've been and felt over this period of lockdown. But maybe let me just introduce you, some of that you maybe don't know, some of these guys. Let's go around. Caleb, maybe just introduce yourself there and give us one or two things about that handsome man in the top right of my screen.
Hey guys, my name is Caleb Makore. I come from Zim, 2008, long time ago. And yeah, I've been in South Africa since then. I'm married to Naomi. We are blessed with two kids, one boy and one 3-year-old girl who talks a lot. But yeah, I'm learning that as well. I work as a software developer here in Muizenberg. So all my life revolves in Muizenberg, work, church, everything. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Brilliant. Yeah, Muizenberg is the center of the earth, bro. It's awesome here, right? Yeah. Christian, tell us a little bit there, bud.
Hi, I'm Christian Willifia. I come originally from Joburg, but I would consider myself a proper Cape Townian now. I'm a podiatrist, so I studied from the foot up. And so some of my patients, they'll go and have their hair cut and they'll call it their top and tails. So I guess I started the tails. I'm a father of two young kids, Aaron and Asher. I'm sure you've seen them running around the church building a couple of times, especially my son. He's quite feisty. And yeah, Monica with the hair. She's my wife. We've been married now for 12 years. And yeah, blessed. Carrying on.
Oh, fantastic, bro. Well, it's about 15 years is the gauge from living in Cape Town, whether you're regarded as Cape Townian. So, I mean, what are you, bro? You're 15 or more, eh?
No, I'm only 8 years, so sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm only just past halfway.
Okay, we're very gracious, so we'll call you Cape Townian. That's okay. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's key, eh? And last but not least, Uche, tell us a little bit there, bud.
Hi, everybody. I'm Uche Odo, and I'm married with a daughter. And I'm an architect, and I also lecture here in Cape Town. And I'm a member of the Bay City Church.
And you're originally from?
I'm originally from Nigeria.
Yeah, fantastic. Eh? Oh, that's awesome, eh? As guys, it's really good to have you on this call today. So what we like to do is we like to just always have a bit of fun to kick off the conversations and test a little bit of general knowledge. I haven't had many correct answers on these calls yet, so maybe Cape Town is not as bright as the rest of the world, but and then maybe what we'll do is we'll go around and we'll just follow that same order of going around the square or the circle on my screen, whatever it is. Just maybe, this period of lockdown has, proved a lot in us, around us. There's been so many, as Uche was saying earlier in our conversation, it's been different for everybody. Maybe just sum up lockdown and sum up this last kind of 123 days, whatever we're on now, for each of yourselves in a word or a sentence. Caleb, we'll start with you and we'll go around the square.
One word that comes in mind is onion.
Onion?
Yes, onion. It has been like, seeing layers and layers of things that I haven't seen before about myself and about humanity in general. So like an onion peeling, one layer after the other. So there's more still.
Sure, I like that. That's good, eh? Christian?
Yeah, a phrase that jumped out at me is hard pressed but not crushed.
Sure, yeah. No, that's good. We understand that one, eh? Definitely, bro. Brilliant, eh? And Uche there?
Yeah, for me, the word that jumps out is paradox. it's been a paradox, because on the one hand, I'm actually enjoying this. And on the other hand, it's quite stressful. So I don't know how it works out. Enjoying on the one hand, on the other hand, it's stressful. So it's just a paradox here.
Yeah, that's definitely a paradox, because you're basically saying, I'm enjoying it, but it's hard. That doesn't make sense, but yeah, that's very good. Yeah. Okay, guys, are you ready for some general knowledge? This is the test of a lot. I mean, this might be whether we regard you as Capetonian Christian. I mean, if you pass this, bro, this is huge, eh? But there's a few categories. You guys can choose from whichever category you like. We've got geography, history, sport, politics, food and drink, music, celebrities, true and false. Okay, so maybe give me what categories you would like. Caleb, we'll start with you. And you must choose between a number 1 and 10. And then I will pop the question and see whether you got it. Eh? So what category?
Sports, number 8.
Sports, number 8. Okay. All right, here we go. In bowling, and I think they're not meaning cricket here. I think they're meaning 10-pin bowling. What is the term given for 3 consecutive strikes?
That's interesting, but I don't have any clue.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if I'm honest, I never know the answers to any of these. 3 consecutive strikes in bowling is called a turkey. Oh, well.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I don't think my prophetic gifts are going to help me on that one.
No. Not going to stretch that far. Okay. It's not Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
All right, Christian. What do you got there, bro?
Sure. I'm going to go celebrities, and let's go 2.
Okay. Celebrities, number 2. Okay. What is, I think you pronounce the name Sher's last name? What is Sher's last name?
No idea. Sure. You got me.
Okay, I got you. All right. It is Sarkisian.
Wow.
Sarkisian. Sarkisian. So full name is Sheldon Sarkisian.
Wow.
Fair enough. Okay.
I'm still Joburg.
Yeah, still a Joburg. It's okay, bro. It's fine. We still love you, man. We still love you.
Thanks.
Okay. Uche, what you got, bro? What you going to give us?
Where do you get these questions from? I think, I don't know, between sports and politics. Maybe I
knew you were going to say politics, so I'm going to go with politics, bro. Let's see whether. And there's a place called the Internet. I went there, and they just have these things called general knowledge questions. So if you want to find them, that's where I found them. Yeah. Okay, what number you say?
Number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. The American Republican Party is commonly referred to as the GOP. What does the GOP stand for?
It's funny. I've been saying I'm going to find the answer to this. I asked myself that question just this year, and I still haven't found the answer. Oh,
well.
I should have.
Know it. You don't know it because you've been trying to find it. Okay, well, the answer is for the GOP stands for the Grand Old Party.
Oh, I've heard it said before, but it didn't ring a bell.
Sure. Well,
procrastination.
Now you know. Hey? Yeah, thanks, guys. It's good just to have a bit of fun and a bit of laughter and realizing that we actually don't know everything. Really, we don't. And it's not a bad thing to approach life by and not trying to know everything. So the idea here today, for those that are engaging, and talking, we want to just be real. We want to be authentic. We want to be relatable in the reality of, what's been going on in our worlds in the last, 123 days in South Africa, where we've had this lockdown on different levels, and it's meant different things to us. And what we essentially want to talk about today is just touch on some of the positives, but also some of the negatives, some of the things that have happened in our own hearts and kind of worlds. And so we're going to just go around sharing around, on each of our different journeys. And I think that's the one thing that we've realized is everyone's journey has been different in this process. Each of our works have been different, and it's required more of us, So, maybe let's spin it around. Uche, I'll start with you this time. And you could just talk through, maybe let's start with the positives, and then we'll work to the negatives after that. Just maybe share some of the things that have, in your line and work and family, and that have been positive for you through this lockdown period.
Okay, I think there are many things, but let me just speak on the one because of time. This period has given me, obviously, rest. I don't miss the commuting at all. I'm happy with that. And then something that I regard as a real positive is we actually have time to disciple our daughter. We go to church, she does her Sunday school, and you kind of think, oh, she's learning. We pray in the house, we pray, all those things. But to be deliberate about it and actually have, take her through lessons on assurance, what it really means to have a relationship with God, and, to do it deliberately and get her to memorize scripture and all of that. It's been one of the major pluses of this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. I mean, what I've realized very quickly is there's no ways I can recreate church at home for my kids. They're not, they're going to see right through it. There's no way. And your kids are the ones that are going to, try and, you can't force them to do anything, but that's the discipling process. That's beautiful to hear that. That's really cool. I mean, and the place of rest for you, you're feeling that's, it's rest from the busyness, or is it just a different pace that has meant that for you?
Yeah, it's a different pace. We don't have to, normally you have to beat traffic. You've got to wake up very early. You have a quiet time and all of that, and then you set up very early, and that's no longer there. It's a different pace. You kind of start slower, and that's quite restful in that regard. But then what happens is that you don't know when to tune off. You're not in an office. The office is right here, so very, very easily, without, if one is not careful, you can very easily find, I find myself working late into the night.
No, that's true. And that, I think we've all learned something from this pace. That's so much demand placed on us, but then it's another discipline now. That's so true. Yeah, well said. Christian, maybe give us some of your highlights on what have been the positives.
Definitely the time to bond as a family. I found, we all work, the kids go to school in the week, I work in the week, and then weekends, we're seeing this couple, we're going to here, we're going there. So it really allowed us time to really bond and build relationally, which was amazing. Something in particular that I'll look back on favorably for the rest of my life is to feel that we weren't stuck in a cage. My daughter and I, there's a safe way of getting to the roof, onto our roof. And we would sit there in the evenings just watching the sunsets. I downloaded the Star app, and we would look at the different constellations and stuff. And you just realize just how big God is. But it's those little conversations I had with my 9-year-old daughter, which was just amazing. Really, things that she shared with me, things that I shared with her, which I don't think we would have been in depth and detailed if we didn't have lockdown. Also, I found that with my relationship with God, I've really seen him as my shepherd. I've been hard pressed and wondering which direction to go, where to go, what am I going to do? And I've really felt and seen God as a shepherd, and just leading me and guiding me, and just hearing his voice. And sometimes if you keep things simple and you just like, okay, let me just hear his voice and obey, and he will lead me and guide me and take the little hook, shepherd's hook, and just say, not there, go over here. That's been really amazing, and I've really had a revelation regarding that.
Yeah, sure. No, bro, what you say about your daughter is just, I mean, I was with my little guy the other day. I took him to go and hit some golf balls, and I said, on the way there, I said, hey, let's phone so-and-so if they want to just come and join us to hit some golf balls. And he was like, no, Dad, I want to just be with you today, Dad. I was like, whoa, okay.
Wow.
And, you know, you just think like how, you know, we don't, not that we've missed those moments, but it's been forced upon us almost this time thing. There's something beautiful about time when there's not so much demand placed on us. And that in those moments sitting on the roof, she'll remember forever. I mean, that just sticks with her. Beautiful, eh?
It was fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Beautiful, bro. Yeah. Stunning, eh? Caleb, give us some of your positives there, my bro. Well, you've grown your hair. That's a positive.
Yeah, I've saved a lot of money with hair and beards. But unfortunately today I had to cut my beards for the video, because otherwise you're not going to be able to recognize me. Yeah. So this lockdown is one of the positives has been, just as I said earlier on, like when I talk about the onion, just realizing, like, you know, once after all has been said and done, the huffing and puffing, running about, pursuing passions and everything, after everything has been slowed down, it comes to basics to understand what is really, really important for you as a man or as a person or as a human, what's important. And it was just an amazing realization for me when everything else like slowed down, like what really remains. And one of the things that remained was family, as well as everyone has been saying, like this, what's important. And it has been a journey of just understanding that like we run around, we do this, we do that, we pursue that, but at the end of the day we come back home, we come back to the loved ones, we come back to spend time with the people that we love, and that's essential. I think it has been great. Yeah, one thing also that I would say that I realized, I know, okay, my wife always works hard and do a number of things in the house and all that, and she was making masks, and I said, okay, let's just trade places. Like there were a couple of holidays and weekends. Okay, I'm going to do everything in the house, like as in house chores and cooking and with the kids, and she does her work. I realized that, yeah, it's a lot of work. By the end of the day, I was so like tired and all that. It just make me appreciate more like what really our wives do for us. And sometimes when you just do 9 to 5, you go to work, you come back, your clothes are ironed, food is there and all that. You just thought, okay, you know, you might take it for granted, but actually just to the process, I just went through that process for days. It was like tiresome, and it just helped me to, it was an eye opener, so just appreciate more and just not take for granted things that we have every day and we get familiarized with. So it was one of the highlights as well for me.
Sure. Yeah, that's so good. I think you sent something on a WhatsApp group the other day, and I said, sorry guys, I was busy outside hanging washing on the line. You know,
Yes.
I think it's you're managing a house essentially. You know, you can be a big CEO of a big corporation, but you can manage a company, but managing a house is a lot of effort and kids involved. That's so good to recognize that, bro, because it just, that thing that you said on family, I spoke recently on family and how God's going to work through the family and creating this move that he's going to do. We've all appreciated this time and that a bit more, and that, but the reality is that through all of this, you know, we've been cooped up, we've been restricted, and it's going to brew on negatives. It's going to play on us. I mean, like the thing on the onion, you know, as you're unfolding and unpeeling it, there's going to be stuff that you don't want to see. There's going to be stuff that you don't want to deal with and kind of want to go there. And I know for every one of us that I've spoken to and engaged have mentioned on, wow, I tell you what, the things that I've had to face about myself, and that because you know, in your thoughts, you are, you know, hanging on those things a lot. And this is the kind of thing we don't like to in touching. We just kind of carry on. Nah, it's all fine, I'm fine. And we facade. We've all done the wild and hard thing. But yeah, let's talk about the negatives, the things that have been hard. Maybe Christian, I'll start with you here. And what are the things that you've just maybe struggled with or just been difficult, in this season?
Yeah. So a story that jumps out at me that I've from the Bible is how Jesus was with his disciples and he said, we're going to go across. And they were in the boat and there was a storm. And it was a nasty storm. There was water coming into the boat. And they were really stressing. And they, where's Jesus? He's sleeping. And so they had to go and wake him up. And so something that I've been struggling with is not to feel like taking God and Jesus and shaking him and saying, do you see there's water in my boat? This is real. This is getting really uncomfortable now. And it just seems like you're quite quiet and you're so chilled. You're like asleep, but this is a bit of a mess. And so it's just that little battle that's been going on is God is my shepherd. I must hear his voice. And with that comes trust. But to stop myself from wanting to shake things up and wake up Jesus when I feel it's now my time, I need your help now. So you're going to abide by my needs when I want it. And that, again, immediately, I know that I'm not trusting in God. I mean, operating in fear, and fear being the opposite of faith. And so that's just something I've been battling with in my mind. It's the minute those fear thoughts come up, is just to run to God and then just keep building my faith. And then, the fear comes up again and I'm wanting to stir Jesus awake. And then just that constant battle of just challenging and fighting those thoughts and emotions of fear, and then just running to God in faith and just wanting to be under his cover and under his peace and under his leadership.
Yeah, no, that's huge, bro. I think we've all faced that reality of fear of like, what's happening next? I mean, if any of us here have got a slightly runny nose or feeling slightly sick, you're going, I got the COVID. No, you probably don't. It's winter and you've probably got a little runny nose. It's okay. But the reality of what the media has portrayed to us and the effects of this thing, and yes, it is real, but those fears that come away, man, it's so real. It's so real. And waking me up, I think he was a bit like, well, why didn't you tell the waves to kind of go? You're like, well, where's your faith? He said, you know what? Yes. Why have you got such little faith?
Yes.
That's massive, man. Massive, bro. No, that's huge, eh? Uche, I know you've enjoyed this time. It's been, it's fruitful for you and that, but it's also, brought out things yourself and the realities of that you had to face with things.
Yes. Christian talked about fear, and, it's one of we know it, but somehow we always still, it's like we're never prepared. It's still always a tussle. It's one of the old weapons of the enemy or agents of the enemy. And it's just a matter of how is that weapon deployed. And so in my case, it's, you were talking early. I don't know if you remember, you kept on saying, listen, develop a rhythm of doing things. And I've been hearing that message all through. You've got to have your rhythm. You've got to have a, what's the word now? You've got to be organized the way you do your things, you've got to manage your time and all of that. Mm-hmm. And I know what I want to do. I know what I need to do. But somehow I find it difficult to really to develop that rhythm, if you know what I mean, to develop the rhythm, to do the things I need to do. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I realized that, oh, listen, I've got this, I've got that, I've got the other, and then fear sets in. So you're going to fail, you're not going to achieve this, you're not going to do that, you're not, you know. And people, it's like there are things, there are those people counting on you to, you know, to accomplish certain tasks at certain times. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to deliver, I'm going to fail. And it just snowballs and snowballs and grows into a big monster. It's like, oh my God. And then suddenly I'm paralyzed. Oh, I should have done that. And then I'm paralyzed. I can't, you know, the simple little tasks of just sticking, you know, keeping at what you're doing becomes such a huge task because one is paralyzed. And then I say, God, where are you? You've got to come through for me. And I just want out, you know. I want out. I just let me go somewhere and just, you know, chill in some nice, quiet place. And those thoughts come, and the temptation to just be paralyzed and not being able to function. And I trace it back to developing the rhythms of life. But in it all, if I'm truthful and I'm quiet, then I see the wisdom of God in all of this. Like, hey, here you are. See yourself. And these are the things I'm teaching you. So I see the lessons. There are quite a few things I've been learning. God has been, you know, I've heard it before. I know the concept, but God has been, you know, teaching me this period about, you know, developing margins. You've got to trust God and develop margins. And maybe one day we'll be able to share about that. You know, you've got to develop margins in everything, every aspect of life. And otherwise you just can't. Those are the things I've been grappling with.
Yeah, no, that's powerful stuff because you know what plays up a lot, you know, is well, for me it's been what actually is motivating me to do what I do, you know, and you can be a self-motivated person, but then those rhythms are the thing, and you realize what motivates you to step those rhythms in place. What is the driving force behind it? If it's people, now you've been separated from people, you know, then why do you do it? You know, and it's actually so much so of, you know, it's driven in your own self of those rhythms that you want to have a disciplined life. And I'm sure we've all been tested with those things big time. And that's brilliant, Uche, to share that, because and then the fear comes along of, well, you'll never do it. You will fail at it and you won't crack it. That's real for every man or man to deal with those things. And Caleb, maybe just, you can share a little bit from your side, buddy.
So I'm a software developer, right? And my mindset is to understand how things work. Like if I click this button, then this will happen, this logic, and then I'll get this result. So it's like how I can like work things. If you see a bug or a problem on the software, you go there, you analyze it, you debug, you understand what's going wrong, and then you understand the problem, then fix it. You know, so like I've been just like my mind working that way and trying to understand what's going on right now in the world, what's going on, you know, like with people, with my work and everything, and trying to figure it out, understand the problem, and then trying to get to the solution. It ends up like, you know, with this just going in circles, but not really understanding anything. And I'll just getting a bit like, especially when it just started, I was researching where did it start? Was it flu? Was it a lab? Was it this? And all that stuff, you know, like trying to understand exactly what's going on and what is COVID, what is this, what is this. And just to become a bit of with anxiety and fear as well. Like, okay, what will happen about this? And like, as you know, I got with Kuda as well. I was like worried, okay, how he's going to cope, how he's going to manage this COVID. What about the kids? What about this? What about that? What about that? And all those if statements that I keep on running in your mind they just build on and build on, build on and build on, and just end up blowing up. But the thing is as well, like they start to cloud your judgment, they start to cloud your understanding, start to cloud your fears, you know, and trying to shift your focus away from God, but to actually trying to figure out things on your own. I think that has been one of the challenges for me, trying to figure out things, trying to make sure that everything will work out and all that. But I was just reminded of you know, when the children of Israel were like at the Red Sea, and the Egyptians are like charging, and they can see the dust, they can hear the sound and everything. They can see the shining armors and the sword coming to them. And I could imagine, I don't know how far were they when they finished crossing, but I could imagine, like, you know, seeing this dust, seeing this massive army charging at you, and you're like standing there. Like, what goes in your mind, you know, like, oh, Moses, is it 100 meters? Moses, 100 meters, 80 meters, Moses, 50 meters, you know, like that feeling where you're like, oh, it's 50 meters, 20 meters, it's, you know, like you can see it approaching, but you kind of like not seeing the way out. But at the end of the day, God did come through for them at the right time, you know, and they managed to cross, and the Egyptians were destroyed. And I think just going back to God, just understanding, like, you know what, I don't have like solutions, I don't have answers, everything. I don't need to understand everything. But what I know is you understand it. You know what's going on. And you are my Father. Everything works for good, be it the good or the bad, but everything works for good. So just giving it back to him, I think it has helped me a lot. And I've seen a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of trying to understand things. But you know what? Just resting in God and say, God, it's your work. It's your piece of cake. It's you, God, who can do this. And I think it helped me a lot, taking away the responsibility or trying to figure out things from myself, and actually taking the back to God.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that is so powerful. And I'll comment on that now. I think we'll wrap it up there and what we speak about. But maybe as we end off is, you know, just have one line of encouragement that you can give to men, you know, in different contexts. Maybe just we can each just say a sentence to guys just to encourage them. Because, you know, Caleb, I think what you did there, you know, and it's like typical male, we want to fix, we want solutions, we want to figure out how this thing works. You know, but then you open up your world to so many voices, and then you realize it does cloud, and you miss the small, still voice that speaks to you and gives you that assurance, that the clarity of like God's in all this. He's working it, He's showing it and stuff. So that's, you know, that's so powerful, bro. So powerful to share that. Well, maybe let's start with you, Christian. You know, just a line to encourage guys as we wrap up here today. Yeah.
So I said in the beginning, we're hard pressed, but we're not crushed. We persecuted, but we're not forsaken. And to my brothers, having done all, just keep standing. One thing that I found that Sean, when he came back from his trip to the UK, said is that we don't, in South Africa, we don't speak enough about mental health. And so I want to encourage the men, speak out. Don't hold that all in on your own. We are here for you. Share those things, share your thoughts, share your emotions.
Yeah, that's so good. Exactly. Reach out on those WhatsApp groups that we've got. Engaged. Talk with guys. Uche, final comment here from the man who's got the best radio voice in the world. He just doesn't utilize it.
Now you've put me on the spot. Yes. One thing, look, fear, we're all going to face fear. It doesn't matter what the trigger is. Yeah. Whether that fear of failure or whatever it is, we are all going to face it. We face it daily. But one thing that has encouraged me, one of the names of God, my favorite, JEHOVAH SHAMMAH. And that's, he's there. God, yeah. He's with us. And you see examples. He was there when the people were thrown in the furnace. He was right there in the furnace. When they were, you know, thrown in the den of, you know, lion's den, he was right there. In that boat that looked as if it was sinking, he was right there in the boat with all the water and everything. You know, so whatever whatever the situation, whatever it is. He's right there with me in it. Yeah. And therefore, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Wow.
And hold on to that, guys. I mean, hold on to that. That's what it is.
Oh, that is very powerful. Very powerful. And yeah, thanks, Caleb. You know, Caleb and I both spoke to each other at the same time, basically wanting to do something like this with men. And I know it's been on his heart a lot. So this journey is something we're going to continue with, and just engage with men. So Caleb, yeah, your final thoughts, bro.
I would say to guys, it's okay. It's okay. You don't need to be in control of everything. It's okay. You're not, you know, jack of all trades. You cannot do everything. You cannot fix everything. You have a father that loves you. Submit to him. Give everything to him. Yes, you are the man, or you are the leader of the house, but you have a better leader who is looking out for you. I think let's just submit to him and say, God, here I am. Here are my fears. Here are my worries. Here are my anxieties, everything. And you hand it to him. You will help us through, and you will see us through. If he can see us through, you will see us above or under. But either way, he always comes through for us. We cast all our burdens, cast all our fears unto him, because he cares for us. And I just want to add as well, like with whatever thoughts that comes to our mind, let's just put them through the filter. Is it pure? Is it noble? Is it admirable? If it is any of these things, think about these things, you know, like just because our mind is where everything starts. Our mind is the battleground. Our mind is the main thing, and so it is. So if we come to renew our mind and understand that God loves us, he is for us, he's standing with us, and you come through for us, I think everything else will just change from there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, everyone that's listened in here, I hope you've been encouraged today. You know, this is a to be continued. We're going to continue these conversations, and just speaking to each other's lives. I encourage men, reach out. Don't fall back. Don't pull back in a time like this. Just keep reaching out to guys that you can trust. So, guys, thanks so much. We will do this again, and trust that you all have a fantastic rest of the week. Cheers now.
Yes.
All right.